valleys and the mountains, we followed hope and its golden gleam, and its light led us across the oceans till we found the American dream.
Hi, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here in our audience. My name is Ingrid Lemme, and this is my show, American Dream. A show about people, their hopes, their dreams, their family heritage, and their unbelievable realities. My guest here at Gurney's Inn overlooking the ocean is Miss Roslyn Goldmacher. I'm not supposed to say Goldmaker, it is Goldmacher.
Well, you can say Goldmacher, my family jewelers, that's our history.
Yeah, we're going to get into that, guys. But I want you to know that we all know her actually under the name Roz. It's very simple, everybody calls her Roz.
That's true.
Yes. Thank you for being on my show. Thank you for being at Gurney's.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here. I've watched your show and I've known you for many years and really happy to be here.
Let me tell you who Roslyn Goldmacher is. She is the President and Chief Executive Officer, in short, CEO of the Long Island Development Council. That is number one, basically where it all started. Then later on, I think later on, it became also the Greater New York Development Council.
Yes.
That's how it was. But guys, we are not going right away into money, okay? That's never the case. We are starting on the American Dream show where it all starts. Give us a little bit, Roz, about your family heritage.
Well, actually, my family, as I mentioned, background jewelers out of Austria, Romania,
so the fine, beautiful jewelry
it's a
is
tradition.
in your family.
Tradition. This bracelet was made by my sister.
It's amazing. Can we get this a little closer? By the way, her sister.
My sister, Beth Goldmacher, she's a principal in the law firm of Faden and Goldmacher, and this is her hobby. And she makes beautiful bracelets, and as her sister,
I wish my sister would have such a hobby.
I get lifetime warranties on any jewelry that she makes for me. So
beautiful.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
So, and she is an attorney. I can't believe it.
And this is a little stress reliever for her. And she works with beautiful gems and Swarovski crystals and makes me bracelets to match every outfit that I have.
Wonderful.
So today was Pearl Day.
Yes, Pearl Day, wonderful. Well, so do I. I wear some pearls. Now, I have a feeling that the men who are watching the shows are thinking, oh, that's a girly show. Guys, you just wait, okay? It's going to be all about money. Roslyn, give us a little bit education. I mean, obviously, the person you are today, there is a whole bunch of experience.
Wow.
So how did you get there?
Well, I grew up here on Long Island. I started out in the Bronx, and when I was 2 years old, my family moved to Hicksville.
Your three sisters,
There
right?
were three sisters, my sister Beth and my twin sister Shelley.
So you are a twin.
Yes, I am.
How
but I'm the
wonderful.
youngest in the family by 2 minutes.
By 2 minutes.
Have to make that
So
point.
you are the baby.
Yes, I'm the baby.
That's wonderful.
And we lived in Hicksville most of my life, and a few years ago I moved to Westbury, and now my sister Beth and Shelley and I all live within 4 houses of each other.
Unbelievable. That's so. That reminds me a little bit on Little Women, you know. So you guys always stayed close.
Yes.
You're a very close-knit family. This is wonderful. So, growing up.
Growing up, we lived in Hicksville. My father was a camera maker and then a designer in the garment industry. Unfortunately, he passed away when I was fairly young. I was 11 years old.
Oh boy.
And my mother continued raising us. She was a bookkeeper. She didn't go back to work immediately after my father passed away because my sister Shelley was under treatment. She is mentally challenged, and she was under some very aggressive treatment, and grew up to be a very independent person thanks to that, and a very supportive family. And I went to Cornell University, to the School of Industrial and Labor Relations.
That is not something what is really common for girls, right?
Well, By the time I went, I would say it still wasn't totally common.
It wasn't.
You're right. But Cornell, we had the advantage of going to a particular division but getting the benefit of the entire university. So I had a very diverse education. When I was in school, I did things ranging from being a union organizer to being in a management training program. And when I came out of school, instead of becoming an arbitrator or mediator or management person or union person, I went to law school, as many of us did. And I went to Hofstra Law School, following in the footsteps of my older sister, Beth. And while I was in law school, I started working in economic development. And that's where it all started. I worked for...
Now, economic development, was that a position where you just wanted to get your feet wet, or did you know you wanted to do something later on in regard? No.
I had no idea. It was the opportunity, and you know what they say, it's most of what we do is, good in life is due to taking advantage of an opportunity, recognizing it and getting involved. I worked for a lawyer when I was in law school. He was involved with an economic development organization that worked with small business. Gurney's being one of them. We can get into that. And I really was doing administrative legal work. When I came out of law school, I started my own law practice, worked again with this attorney, worked on the economic development, and there came a point where I founded Long Island Development Corporation. And for a while, I was doing the Long Island Development Corporation as a volunteer activity on the side, and I had a law practice. And then there came a point in life where I decided to go full-time into the economic development with Long Island Development Corp.
Now, I cannot imagine that somebody is just saying, okay, I'm going to found now Long Island Development Council. No. This is something what you did on the side, and it was founded for a purpose. First and foremost, it was to help small organizations, small companies.
It actually started to administer a specific program to help small businesses. There's an entity under the federal government called the U.S. Small Business Administration. It's the federal agency charged with advocating for small business. And the Small Business Administration had various lending programs over the years, and there came a time when Congress said, we need to help small businesses invest in capital assets. Because when they buy land and buildings and machinery, they create jobs, they help our economy. So the SBA, Congress created this program called SBA 503, which is now called 504. And they said, but we don't want to administer this directly. We don't want this coming directly from the Small Business Administration. This has to be a combination of private sector and the federal government. So they decided that it should be administered through local entities, economic development organizations called certified development companies.
And that didn't exist.
They didn't exist. Long Island Development Corporation actually was the first certified development company created in the country. It doesn't have the first license from the SBA because the main sponsor of the legislation, a congressman from up in Buffalo, New York, wanted the first license for the development company in his area, so they got that. But we were actually the first one created in the country, and we're still here 27 plus years later helping small business.
In these 27 plus years, you people have given loans and helped small businesses right and left. Can we say how many millions of dollars went to support small businesses?
To date, we've made approximately $775 million in direct loans to small business and leveraged an additional $2.5 billion in other capital being brought to the small businesses.
God bless you. Wow.
It's very
exciting. That is a number. Guys, with this terrific, beautiful, huge number, I think we have to take a break. That's a lot of money. Thanks for staying with us on the American Dream Show. Roslyn Goldmacher, CEO and President of the LIDC, Long Island Development Council. Corporation, guys.
But that's okay. Just call us LIDC.
LIDC, I can remember that better. And then GNYDC, Greater New York Development Company. So it's not a council, it's a company. We were talking about this huge number. In these 27 years, you folks, your company has given so much money to help small businesses. Can you just name just a couple where you would
sure.
say these were really great success stories and look at them, what happened?
I'm very proud of our success
Yes.
stories. Our job is to help the small businesses and get them to the point where they don't need us anymore.
Yes.
And companies like J. D'Addario and Company. J. D'Addario is the largest guitar string manufacturer in the world. And they're based right here on Long Island.
Yeah.
And they came to us when they wanted to buy their first building.
Yeah.
And because they were a small business, they didn't have access to the reasonably priced capital that big businesses did. And so because we came in and helped them with the financing, they bought their first building. They came back to us later on to buy a second building and then to renovate it. And now they don't need us anymore. They have 3,000 employees.
Are you serious? I did not
Yes.
even know that.
Big company. Another company that may be a household name around here is Gold's Horseradish.
Yes.
Now, Gold's Horseradish is interesting. They were based in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
family-owned business going back to the 1800s, and they literally at one point grew the roots in their basement. I saw where they used to grow them.
Don't you love, that's an
yes.
American dream.
They were into the second and third generation of the family. Many of them lived on Long Island, wanted to move out from Brooklyn, wanted to maintain their Brooklyn heritage, however. So they found a building in Hempstead. We helped them finance it
Yeah.
because although they were a successful business, like many small businesses, they really were not totally bankable. But by us coming in with a loan to supplement what the bank was willing to do, it made it affordable for them to move. And in addition to providing low-cost financing, we also helped them with another matter. They wanted to say that their product was made in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So we helped them get the name of their street changed to Brooklyn Road.
I love it.
Well, it goes beyond that. It was a good thing they changed it because the original name of the street,
Yeah.
Hemlock Way. You can't have food products made on hemlock.
No, no, no.
And now Gold's Horseradish has expanded over the years.
Everybody knows it.
Everyone
Everybody
knows about it. Wonderful, diverse
It's
products.
in my refrigerator.
And they hired lots of local employees to help them with that business.
How wonderful. Come on, give us one more.
Oh, we have so many interesting stories. We have one company that's based out in the North Fork of Long Island that was involved in the commercial fishing industry. And when there came a time where the type of fish that they were going after had kind of dried up within our waters, they were looking to diversify. And they discovered a huge market for squid in Spain.
Yeah.
But in Spain, they don't eat the squid the same way we do. They don't like the head and the entrails.
Okay.
So they found that there was a squid cleaning machine.
Okay.
We financed the squid cleaning machine where the squid goes
Unbelievable.
in one end, it takes off the head and the entrails, which go for dog and cat food, and it comes out the other end looking like a square white piece of tofu. And it all gets shipped right off to Spain. So that was an exciting project.
So you really have a lot of American dream stories behind you.
Absolutely. There's one more you should know about.
Please.
Gurney's.
Oh,
Gurney's was actually when Gurney's expanded and expanded the hotel, created the spa and the restaurant. It was done with the assistance of a variety of conventional and government-related financing programs, and one of them was a program called the SBA 502 loan program, which was a predecessor to our current program. And that was the organization I was involved in when I was in law school.
yes.
So I remember coming out here for a field visit, looking at the plans to build Gurney's out, and watching as it was constructed and started to become the success that it is today. So that's very exciting for me.
Yes. Well, I can tell you that Mr. Nicholas Montemorano, who just passed away, he was always very, very fond of you. And not only very fond of you, he always said, that lady has so much brains. That's what he would say, besides money, of course. It is not, Ross, that this money is yours. We just want to make this clear, okay? Because people think, oh, she has, this money is not yours. You are, you have a board. You are responsible to a whole bunch of people.
Yes, we're actually a private, not-for-profit economic development organization, and we're independent. We're not a government entity. The programs under which we lend, some of them are government-related. I'm happy to say that, for the most part, they don't cost the taxpayers anything. And we are charged with lending this money out, doing the due diligence. We market, we process the loans, we approve them, we close them, we service them, and if we have to, we liquidate them. So we're just like a bank in that sense. We make loans just like a bank does, except we're making loans that bankers normally would not make.
Bad loans, they happen.
They do happen.
They do happen. What's the ratio?
It's actually very low. Our default ratio is actually better than a bank's. And the reason for that is that we work very closely with our small businesses and now our nonprofits. We also make loans to not-for-profit institutions now. And we work very closely to make sure they can access all of the resources necessary for success. We counsel them, we bring in other incentive programs, we bring in other financing programs, utility abatement programs, real estate tax abatements, things that will help them to be successful in what they're doing. And because we're so close to them and we're bringing all these resources to the table, I think that that's the main reason why our default rate is very low.
And that is within the greater New York area.
Well, for almost 27 years, Long Island Development Corporation operated just in Nassau and Suffolk counties,
Exactly.
2 counties. And then a while ago, many of the lenders that we worked with, who provide other parts of the financing in these packages, said to us, we like the way you work, we want to work with you throughout our footprint.
Yes.
And most of them are tri-state, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
Yeah.
So we created an extension called the Greater New York Development Company, and now we make loans throughout New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
Amazing. Amazing. She is growing, that Roz Goldmacher. She is beautiful. Guys, I have to tell you, I did see the picture on the cover of Newsday, and I thought, wow, she looks amazing.
Thank you.
And here's our next subject. What in heaven are you doing to stay beautiful, to stay radiant? And
Aren't you sweet?
And what is most important is, I mean, after all, there is more to life than lending money. What is your private life?
Well, truthfully, my business is also one of my passions. I just love driving down the road and being able to look and say, oh, there's one of the businesses that I finance. There's a truck that I finance. There's a company that I helped. So that's real, that takes up a lot of my time. But outside of that, I'm very close to my family. My 2 sisters and myself spend a lot of time together. We enjoy lots of things. I collect Disney memorabilia.
No.
Yes, I do.
I love it.
I'm a Mickey Mouse fan.
Me too.
Definitely.
Me too. How often did you go to Disney World?
About once a year since Disney World was opened in Florida.
Once a year.
In fact, I'm going in January, so I'm very excited
You're
about
going
that.
again?
Yes.
I went the first time in my life, 2 years ago, my husband and I am hooked forever.
Well, it's a wonderful place.
It's so
it's great.
beautiful.
And if you ever want a little slice of Disney, you can come and visit my backyard.
What's happening?
I don't know if you remember, but for Mickey's 75th birthday, Disney commissioned 75 statues of Mickey Mouse, each one designed and painted by a different artist or celebrity.
Yes.
They're about 6.5 feet tall, weigh 700 pounds. And they were toured the world,
Yes.
and then they were auctioned off for charity.
Yes.
And I have 2 of them in my backyard.
Guys, on this note, we have to take a break. After these messages. On the American Dream Show, an all-American dream girl. Her name is Roslyn Goldmacher. She's here. She is all Roslyn, and guess what? And she's all about money. We have one more segment. In this one more segment, we're going to take all the questions out of the application. I am applying now. Very simple, everybody, okay? For a small business loan because, yes, actually I am the American Dream Show, and I want to come now and say, listen, I really want to start to market this. Whatever I have here, I want to make American Dream shirts, American Dream mugs. I want to go into some kind of a production. I have shown already a certain background that it works. And what am I doing next?
Well, truthfully, whenever a small business needs money, the first thing I suggest is that you talk to your bank of account. Most of the capital that small business uses in our nation comes from banks, other conventional lenders.
Okay.
Where I get involved, and programs like mine get involved, is when the bank cannot lend to you on terms you can afford.
Okay.
Now, as a small business, that's very common. As a startup business, as a business looking to expand, that may happen. What typically will go on is that your bank, if they can't give you everything you need, will come to me.
Yeah.
Because I supplement what the banks do. When a company, for example, wants to expand and buy its own building, they may walk into their bank, and if they're a good credit, the bank will say, I'll lend you 60 to 70% of the appraised value. That leaves the small business to sink 30 to 40% into the cost of the building, plus pay for renovations and soft costs, title insurance, attorneys, accountants, etc. Most small businesses can't afford to spend their working capital on that capital project that way. So that's where I come in.
Yeah.
We say, what's the total project? It's the cost of the building, it's the cost of renovations, machinery, and soft costs. Out of that, your bank or another lender lends you 50%, gets a first mortgage. I lend you 40%, take a second mortgage, and you put in just 10%.
Okay.
You save your cash for the working capital needs of your business. My loans are long-term, low-cost, fixed rate.
What means long-term? How long?
20 years. Most conventional lenders are short-term lenders, a year or less.
Yeah.
The longer you have to pay your loan back, the less you pay back each month.
Okay.
That helps your working capital. So I can go 20 to 25 years on my loans. So it's less for you to pay back each month. The other thing is, my loans are fixed rate. Now, you're too young to remember, but I remember when the prime lending rate went up to 21%.
Yes.
I don't know about
I
you,
do
but
remember
I like
this.
to know here's what I'm going to pay every month for the next number of years
Yes.
so that I can plan.
Like my mortgage is 6.25.
Right, and that's
the
what it
next
is.
30 years.
Right, so it's fixed rate is good. It helps you plan as a small business. If you're a not-for-profit, you can also borrow under the same scenario. So that's just one of the programs that we have.
Okay.
If you're looking for working capital, well, there are a lot of government-related programs out there, including some that we handle, that can help you as a small business. One of the programs we have is a targeted industry loan fund to help the types of businesses we want to grow here on Long Island, and that ranges from biomedical to pharmaceutical to businesses in a tourism-related destination area, such as Montauk. And so there are a lot of programs out there. As a small business, the best thing you can do is to plan effectively. Have a business plan, have your financials in order, file your tax returns, pay your taxes, and have a clear idea of what it is you want to do. So that when you go into a lender, whether it's Long Island Development Corporation or anyone else, you can say, okay, here's my history, I've demonstrated that I know what I'm doing, here's my paperwork in order, and here's what my plan is. And that's a good starting point.
Where am I going? I'm coming to your office.
You can come to my office, you can call me, and I'll come to your office. I have lenders who work all over Long Island and throughout New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. And we can talk over the phone, we can meet in person, you can come to our office, and we'll tell you, okay, this is what you need to do to qualify for a loan. Or maybe we don't have a loan product that's suitable for you, but here's where you can go. Or you can walk into your bank. Very often your banker knows about these programs that are out there.
Who makes the final decision?
On our loans, it's Long Island Development Corporation. We have a staff, and we have a loan committee, and we have a board of directors.
Now, these are people.
These are people, these are volunteers. The staff are paid, of course, but the board of directors and loan committee are volunteers from the community, educators, bankers, government people, business people who are involved in the community and want to give back.
So the people which are volunteering have to have a certain background, right?
Well, they have to be committed and interested in helping to advance our economy. And so they all have varied backgrounds, and they just have to have an interest.
I see, I see. Now, this small business loan is approved. I'm getting it. Hooray, I'm having a party now, yes?
Yes.
Okay. I'm getting money. I'm getting the whole investment
At once?
Is that how it
Typically,
works,
our
or?
loans are term loans,
Okay.
as opposed to a line of credit, which means you get it all at once. And you're getting it for a specific purpose. If you tell me that you're looking to borrow money to market your business, you have to show me that you're going to use the money for marketing.
Yes.
You can't, it's a commercial loan, a government-related loan. You need to use the money for the intended purposes.
It's just like with any other bank. I am applying for a construction loan. The bank wants to see that I really put this bathroom into my house.
Right.
And that's what they're paying for. They're paying for the bathroom or for the kitchen.
That's right. In our case, we have our two main loans to help businesses and nonprofits buy and build buildings. You have to use the money for that purpose.
Yes.
Not for some other business, but for the purpose of buying or building that building, condominium, co-op, machinery, making leasehold improvements, because those two programs are intended only for those capital projects.
Developers in regards to real estate. Are you funding developers?
We don't fund developers per se. Our programs are for owner users, for the small businesses and the nonprofits that are impacting our economy. And we require that the small business or the nonprofit occupy a significant part of that building. We're really not here to fund investments. But there are programs out there that can help developers, and if the developer itself is going to occupy 50% of the building for its own office, we can finance it.
Then be it. There's a lot of not-for-profit business now in the air.
Oh, yeah.
That's obviously something a lot of business people, the route a lot of business people are going, that they are saying, you know what, there's only so much money I need to make, and everything else goes for a great cause. How do you handle this? Where is there a line?
Well, not-for-profits, no matter what their mission and their cause, must operate like businesses these days.
Yes.
Government grants, that's drying up. And so not-for-profits, just like any other business, have to operate efficiently, and they have to have revenue streams that they can rely on in order to provide the services they do. We have a new program that lends money to nonprofits wanting to buy their own buildings. Now you may say, why would a nonprofit buy its own building? Because just like any business or other entity, it needs to stabilize costs. It may need a specific location. It may be cheaper to own its own building, and therefore it frees up working capital to provide services. So we provide low-cost money to help nonprofits buy their own facilities or improve them. It gives them the same access to the capital markets out there, the low-cost money, that the big nonprofits have.
Last question. Religious institutions.
I can't fund the house of worship itself, but I just funded a house of worship building a school, an ancillary activity, daycare, school, community center. I can fund those under this program.
Child development centers.
Absolutely. Eligible.
Wonderful. How is that, guys? See, it started all with the beautiful jewelry made by her sister, the attorney, and turned out into two girls talking about real hard American dollars. See that? Thank you everybody for watching, and please tune in again, once again, to the American Dream Show at Gurney's Inn overlooking the ocean.
I found a new life in America.